Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host, Donald the Wonder, and I'm joined back for another podcast-like interview with a very special returning guest that most of you have actually requested me do for a while now. And recently, this fellow brought something to my attention with something I've done with my channel, and that gave me the excuse to have him back on, because we're going to be talking about a few things with YouTube, a few things that are a bit topical, a few things that are not anime related, but to be honest with you, I find him interesting, and I find this man the right man to talk about it in his very frank tone. So without further ado, ladies, gentlemen, and plebs, I'd like to reintroduce the original anime snob, Roriconfan.
The one and only me, that anime snob now. Forget that Roriconfan, it's in the long past. I'm back with more chat about not so much anime related anymore, but it's gonna be equally important and educational, because you need to be educated, you filthy casuals.
People didn't miss you, man. I think it's been about 4 years, or 3 or 4 years since we did the last podcast, which is a long time.
Yeah, and about 10,000 subs.
For you. You're still making a lot of friends online, particularly with the anime community, with, love and friendship, and modern anime is great, all that good stuff.
Yes, and they all love me. They all want to be like me. Yeah, sure.
Rory, why are you such an asshole, man? You're destroying the anime community. Online they even call you the cancer of the community, especially on Reddit. Why is that, man? Why is that? Why do you get so much hate still after all these years?
It's like criminals looking at a police officer. They're not going to say good things about him. They're just going to call him, a pig, a filthy swine, who's always there to pest them. Yeah, who needs police officers? They're just here to pest us, man. We're just doing our job, stealing stuff from others.
The anime police.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, I think you said that you were being hunted by the anime mafia.
Yeah, they were trying to flag some of my videos because I was making fun of them, but after I won the counter notification, they never tried again.
Right. Well, I'm not going to waste you guys' time. I will say, guys, if you're interested, me and Uri have done podcasts over the years. I'm going to put links in the description if you want to go back and listen to those. Also, I'll put a link in the YouTube card, because if you're on tablet, then you could just get to it that way. YouTube has made it easier. They've made a lot of changes, which we're going to get to for better or worse. And before we start, I do want to say, Rory, I'm still a subscriber. I'm still a fan, even though people have accused me of being a bit of an ass-kisser, super fan of yours, but we don't agree. In fact, we're going to start this conversation with something you've even criticized me for, which is interesting. But I do want to say, 2 videos you made over the years has been my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, and 2 of them you still kind of get shit for as well.
Which 2?
My number 1 favorite being, if you don't like it, why are you watching? Because you still get those comments in the description below. And even I ask myself, Rory, Snob, I don't watch as much anime as I used to, because, like you, I'm not the biggest fan of modern anime. And I honestly, even though I appreciate your educating and you have a lot of opinions, which I agree with for the most part, I don't know how you do it. I mean, you must love anime to be talking about after all these years. I mean, people say, oh, you hate anime, but I don't think anyone could still talk about anime after all these years and follow all these new shows. You must love it. I don't see why people can't see that. How can you hate anime if you still follow after all these years bitching about it? How?
Well, first of all, I think that anime is the only medium where I cannot find proper critics as of yet. It's like there is reviewers out there who do a decent job in video games and in board games and in books and in movies. But when it comes to anime, I find nobody else who is worthy, or at least there aren't enough yet. It's like we don't have something professional going on yet. So I'm just going for the medium which is not yet exploited enough in this department. Any reviews we have are more like, summaries of chapters and episodes, which barely counts as anything.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm basically focusing on something which I think that needs it the most. And since I grew up watching those the most, why not? And it does give me a small income.
You know what? That sounds honourable, and I'm going to get a little asking some comments for saying that, but I don't see a lot of critical anime reviews online. I mean, I guess Glass Perfection, he's very nice, but he's as critical as I've seen on a big time scale. Most of them are very, very, very forgiving and very positive, and again, there's so much positivity, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, but the scales are very unbalanced. You said this yourself on many videos. So, but you know what? Let's move on. We're going to get to the anime stuff in the end. But I didn't really bring you on for anime in general. I brought you on actually to speak about YouTube. Now, everybody on YouTube knows that for the past 2 years, there's been tons of controversy with YouTube. YouTube are changing so many things for the creators with the what's the fair use, with the unnecessary takedowns. The most recent being this demonetization situation, which is being classed as censorship. But before we get to that, I want to start with the thing you brought to me about something I did on my channel. So people, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll paint you the picture. So about a week ago, Snob came on my channel and on my discussion channel, and he asked me, "Oh, I've noticed that you've hidden your subscriber count. Why have you done that?" And I said, "You know what, Snob? I've been speaking to some YouTube creator helpers. I'll get into that. That's a whole different thing. But basically, some people on YouTube try to help people build their channels, and they give you advice. And one of the things I came across, I'll actually tell you the channel, by the way, who it was, so you guys know who I'm speaking about. But they were saying, you know what, for smaller channels, whether you've been around for 5 or 6 years or whatever, you might want to hide your subscriber count now, because the mass YouTube, not even the YouTube community, the casuals, the people that are watching YouTube now, they look at the subscriber count first before anything else. And when they said that to me, I thought to myself, really? That sounds a bit flaky. But they said, you know what? Search YouTube. You can see other YouTubes are doing it. Mostly newer YouTubes, not bigger ones. I will say that. And they're finding success with it, and they're noticing that their numbers are climbing. I said, okay. I said, you know what? What the hell? At this point in time, I've got 550 subscribers right now at the time of this recording. That hasn't changed that much. So I hit the channel. It's been about 3 weeks since I've done that. And I've noticed, let's just say, before I did that, I was getting 1 to 2 subscribers weekly, which is very low. Now I've been getting 2 to 3, 3 to 4 subscribers. That's an increase of 25, 30% or what have you. Do the math. So I've noticed. So I noticed that Snob, he made a response video for his channel to address this. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of what you said in response. Basically, and I agreed with some points you said, and I disagreed with others. One of the things you said, which I completely agree with, was that ultimately, if they look at your video view count anyway, they can kind of ascertain the kind of subscribers you've got. You can easily see if you've got 25 views on a video, you can kind of figure out the subscriber count probably not very high, which is true. But then you also said that this kind of thing is going to get people of the lowest common denominator. It's an optical illusion, and someone that's producing quality for their channel probably wouldn't go for something like that. So Is that basically what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So I didn't want to respond on the channel because we would go back and forth, and I actually wanted to have you on. I use it as an excuse to have you on. So now the reason, when I heard you said that, I said, you know what, man, I thought I agreed with that until I saw the proof in the pudding. Let me give you an analogy. This is how it seems to be going on for me right now. I'm not going to bore you guys. It's very quick. Let's just say there's 3 circuses on the street. Now, each circus has a sign. And in front of them, one says they get 50 visitors a day, one says they get 500, and the other says they get 5,000. My channel was the one that gets 50, obviously the lowest one. So people come by. They're all on the same street. People come by to the circus. You know I get 50, so I get 50 people coming. So after 4 years, I get the same amount of traffic, and I say, you know what? I'm going to take the sign off the front and see what happens. So now, this is what I'm noticing. People that used to walk by, look at the sign and walk past, are actually coming in. They're like, hey, this guy hasn't got a sign. So what's going on? The others have got signs. Why has this guy not got a sign? They come in, they look around, and then they decide based on the content, what's inside, oh, you know what? I'm going to subscribe. That's what I see happening. So now, that's this subscriber number. One thing you said that I agree with, they're fools. The people that are making this decision to subscribe to my channel based on the number are of the lowest They are stupid. They are foolish for letting that detract them. But here's the thing. They're not judging me at all. They're just judging the number. I need them to come in. If me hiding my number is going to make them give me a chance to decide based on my content whether they subscribe or not, that's what needs to happen. They don't need to judge that number. That number is getting in the way. And obviously it's because it's low. Now, I'm going to blame YouTube for doing this, but I'm going to get into this in a little bit. YouTube is actually perpetuating subscribers being the currency of YouTube. And I will let you respond to what I just said first anyway, because I'm going to get a bit more into that.
Okay, if you go on any database and you see any show, you can see lots and lots of statistics, okay? You can rank shows by popularity, by average score, by how many gave it a 10 or a 9 or an 8. And all these are just numbers. And people use those numbers to have a rough estimation of what the majority thinks about a series.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can use the same logic with hiding your subscribers, why ain't all those databases hiding all the statistics?
That's their choice.
Yeah, why doesn't every single database hide the statistics and allows only under specific situations for anyone to be able to see those numbers? Because they want them to see those numbers.
Yeah.
It's because big numbers are assumed to be good things and small numbers are assumed to be bad things.
Mm-hmm.
And just like in any advertisement, you are advertising what goes well, not what doesn't go well, okay?
Sure.
You're always trying to show a good face by promoting what looks nice on you, and what does not look nice on you is hidden. So any channel does, in specific channels on YouTube, does anything it can to promote what it's good at and hide what it's not good at. If the subscriber number seems to be like negative and it's small, of course they're gonna hide it and it's supposed to like promote only the good stuff. Mm-hmm. But how can you promote your good stuff by hiding your bad stuff? This is the big question. It's like, okay, do they really need to randomly check you out because they don't know your subscriber numbers? Let's say you're a mystery box, and just like so many shows, you're watching to see who's the guilty guy. And if that's the only driving force you have, you might as well be calling yourself Lost and last for 7 seasons, and the end will be shit. But who cares? Many people were following you, and this is why I find this dishonest. I am not in favor of it. If people are really smart, they're gonna see through that. That they're not gonna fall for that trick, because even if they subscribe because they like their videos, they were still conned into it. And
I don't understand the negative connotation of it. I would call it a tactic, not a trick, because I don't see me hiding my number from them. I don't see how it affects their decision. This is the problem. Why does my number affect the decision? Because that's the problem. My number is a defining element, is giving them motivation to subscribe when it should be my content. That's the problem. That's what I've seen.
By the same logic, what's so bad about the clickbaits? What about having thumbnails with naked women, even though this is not so relevant with what's going on in the video? It's a tactic, isn't it?
That's what I just said. It's a tactic. It's a and even clickbait.
It's manipulative in a bad connotation.
Manipulative. Yes, it's a tactic, and it's a tactic. I don't find it to be manipulative, because the thing I'm hiding from them shouldn't persuade them one way or another. But let me tell you something. I didn't like this idea to begin with. I just thought hiding my subscribers, I didn't like it just because of the shame factor. I didn't like it because it made me feel like I'm ashamed, and I thought my subscribers would contact me. None of them have contacted me. They don't really seem to care. And again, more people are coming in. The problem is it's working. This is the thing. It's actually working. And that bothers me, because I'm like, why is hiding my number working? But then they're looking at my content. So, I mean, we probably won't agree that it's not a trick, because I agree it's a tactic. I'm not going to deny that. What I'm doing is a tactic, but it's working, and it judges me on my content. The thing that I'm using to trick them, I don't really see how that... And people, by the way, you probably noticed on your comments as well, it was kind of 50-50. Some people were saying, yeah, it's not a good idea. Some people were saying it shouldn't really matter whether it is. And my whole thing is, and the reason why I brought this up, because I'm not going to stay on this too long, whether we agree on this, ultimately it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do it because it's working for me. What I'm saying is, new YouTubers coming in now are finding this to work for them. And I honestly don't think it's going to work for everybody, because like you said, it's all going to come down to the content anyway. Let me say this for the record. I do not think this is a great tactic. My content is going to make you subscribe, not the number. This is the point. If someone does this and we've got shit videos, it's not going to help them at all. The only reason I'm doing this is because I feel that people are seeing me for me, or my channel, for the content and not for the number. And the reason why I say YouTube is perpetuating this is because YouTube have... This is public, by the way. YouTube honor people, reward people on their subscriber count. Everybody knows about the gold, diamond, and platinum play button. When you reach this level, you give people celebrity. You give people the power to let them know that, hey, I'm a big YouTuber. let me give you another example. If I told someone, this happens in real life, and Rory, I don't know if this happened to you. If you said to someone, hey, I've got a YouTube channel, what's the first 2 questions people ask you?
What kind of videos you're making?
Yeah.
And how many subscribers you have?
Exactly. This happens almost every time. And I will tell you of personal experience. I say I've got 500 subscribers. Now, maybe someone that isn't into YouTube might not know, but in today's society, YouTube is so ubiquitous. Everybody knows about YouTube. Everybody knows that PewDiePie is the #1 with 40 million or whatever subscribers. If I said I have 500 subscribers, I've seen the look on their face. I've seen their look on their face go down a notch. If I told the same person I had 100,000 subscribers, and I've lied to them, oh, I'm going to check you out. That's got nothing to do with my content. Nothing. But if I tell them I'm a media reviewer and I've got 100 subscribers, the difference between that and 500, you can see it clear on their face. This is basically what's happening to my channel, and I've noticed it. And honestly, I'll let you speak on this, but I find it very disheartening. I don't really want to do it, but it's working. That's the problem.
If I was supposed to focus more on things that are working out, I would only be making top 10 videos.
Sure, and I was about to ask you about that as well, yeah.
Why am I not doing simply top 10 videos which get the most views and don't really require any thinking process? Because trust me, it's just 10 random titles which have some sort of a similar thematic going on amongst them, but that's pretty much it. Why am I not doing that? It's because I don't find that fulfilling. Yeah. It will give me the most views, the most money, but it's not what I want.
There you go.
It's also a tactic. It's supposed to work. It will definitely give you the most subscribers. Mm-hmm. The few lists I made have definitely given me the most than anything else, but I don't enjoy making them at all. I don't feel nice while I deal with it. Yeah. And if I reach the point where I don't give a fuck and I just do it for the views and the money, then I'll just become another Arcada. Yeah, I'm just going to become a new Arcada working for Crunchyroll and promoting their shit. Mm-hmm. But I'm not doing that because that's not what I want. And if I was really going after main subscribers, I wouldn't be making cringe videos and compilations of nonsense others are doing in their channels because that makes me look like a bad troll and whatever. But I don't stop because I like doing it. That's pretty much the only reason I go for it.
And you know what? You said this to me. I'm going to even expose myself a little bit more with Rory. Rory said to me that, you know what, Don, and everyone said this to me, you should have more subscribers. Why don't you have? Because you don't have the right energy, or you're not, what you do is very kind of monotone, very straightforward. You're not sticking out from the herd. And you know what? That's a completely different problem. Then that's a problem with me and what I do. And if you're going to come to my channel and say, I don't like your videos because you're too boring, that's criticism towards me. But again, if you're looking at my number and you're not even going to look at my channel based on that, that is an outside problem I need to remove. And like I said, I'm not going to belabor with a point, but I've taken away that option for you to judge me on that alone. My subscriber count is rising. The thing you're describing about changing your style, doing top 10 videos, that is on you, your content specifically. That's not got anything to do with your subscribers. That's you changing your content. If you want to do top 10 videos, that's up to you. But you don't like to do it. So that's something you decide to do. As for me, like I said, Rory, if I was a bit more of a personality, I've said this to you, if I was more upbeat and if I, made myself a character, maybe I would do more. But I can't sustain that because I don't want to be a character. It's just not natural. I've seen people, this is the reason why I moved away from anime, by the way, on my channel. I used to just do anime. You know that, Will. We used to only talk about anime. Yeah. But I got deflated. Even I've seen you mix up a little bit because you can't do, if you're not motivated, if you don't have passion to do something, you'll burn out. You'll lose interest and you won't do it. I do multimedia reviews and you're starting to mix up as well because you get deflated. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to be. So anyway, I just wanted to address that point, but there's more because what I'm describing with me is I'm a very small channel. 500 subs, that is seen small. Rory, you're coming close to the 10,000 subscriber count, yeah?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Would you consider 9,000 subscribers a lot in the guise of YouTube?
No, of course not. If the largest ones are all about music and have at least 20 million each, this is nothing.
Yeah, okay. Based on your content, right? How many subscribers do you think you should have?
How many I deserve to have?
Be honest, yeah. What do you think? Where do you think you should be at?
I should be at least at 100,000, but I'm not promoting myself in a way with editing and what people want to hear in a way that would reach me to those numbers.
You know, one thing you said to me in the message is that, you know, like I just said, you wish I spruced myself up. The problem with YouTube is that it's ridiculously oversaturated in every genre. Gaming, reviews, hairstyle, music videos. YouTube has become... They say it was the site for the little guy. That was probably back in 2009. Now YouTube has become a business on every single level. And this is going to lead me into all the controversial things, because all these controversial things happen with YouTube, with the video takedowns. Most of it has got to do with business. And let's start with the video takedowns, for example. Rory, you've been a victim of this, right? The videos being flagged and copyright claims, right?
Sure.
Because, I don't know, the people that have claimed your videos, some of them have been the actual anime companies, right? And some of them, I don't know if they've been false completely.
From what I've seen, none of them was false. Everybody was just... had copyrighted material, which they seem to have the right to take away monetization, but there were a few times when there was just music heard in the background because it was filming something, and there was music coming from, you know, a radio somewhere, and they flagged it because the music was there. That was unfair, but everything else I was using, like AMVs or perhaps official music, I understand why they would like to take away monetization.
Yeah, but you basically, everything you've done, you would say that was in fair use, right?
So far, for me, yes.
Yeah, and I've seen that you're still incorporating some videos. I don't know, maybe you warp the picture a little bit. You have to use certain tactics to try not to get flagged. I'm not sure how you do it, but you haven't seemed to get flagged in a while, right?
Actually, I've been flagged once recently, but it's no biggie. Now flags only last for 3 months instead of 6, so they go away much faster.
Yeah, and I know people have criticized you on... your videos aren't being as flashy as some of the other anime reviewers and all that. So, do you feel these things play a part in you not rising as a subscriber as well? Or why do you think you haven't reached 100,000? What's your opinion on this?
Oh, video editing. I'm not dealing very much with the pretty colors on how nice everything looks. I'm just using static pictures mostly. And when I'm filming something, I'm not, you know, throwing in filters and what's not. So, people want to see something that it's pop music, basically. You know, you're watching a pop music video clip, essentially. That's what they would watch delightfully for 10 times in a row, but I don't do that. So regardless of my content, and because, you know, I'm not exactly a native English speaker, it's very hard to gain a bigger fan base faster.
Your English has gotten a lot better, by the way. I will say your English is very good, very good. But
thank you.
Honestly, I honestly don't think quality content is not enough anymore.
Yeah, I agree in that. It's what we call about easily digestible. People want to see something which is easily understood and enjoyable enough to rewatch it 3 or 4 times. Even myself, I rewatch videos which I find to be fun and not, you know, that educational. If something is very educational, 1 time is enough. And that's not what YouTube gets you all the big bucks. You need to rewatch something 5 or 6 times. And educational and useful, it's not something that, you know, will give you the most.
People have been complaining, you've heard this as well, this year, one of the big YouTube calls to arms is that make YouTube great again. YouTube has been focused on drama. And this, I'm not even talking about you, even though you've always had drama. That's been part of, even before you were on YouTube, by the way, you was getting into drama on My Anime List or what have you. But this year in particular, I don't know if you know, it's YouTube and drama channels, all this controversy with rape allegations and people doing these stupid fucking pranks and people causing unnecessary beef. This is part of the YouTube culture and this is getting people hit. Also, exposed videos, people making videos exposing someone. I think didn't someone make an exposed video about you last year?
Nah, it was lies. They didn't really expose anything. You know, it was more of a prank.
But this is the current trend of YouTube. Do you not see that as well? That this is another way...
It's called freedom of speech, okay? If you have democracy and you have freedom of speech, you are technically allowed to do all these things. And if they are causing drama, people who are into it are basically part of the drama. You can leave anytime you want to, you know? Nobody's chaining you in it. And if it's ruining your reputation, well, okay, that's a different thing. But I understand why it exists. I even feel that up to a point we need a drama because conflict helps us improve faster because we are forced to face what people don't like about us. We need to adjust, you know, compromise or maybe improve ourselves, something like that. If we are free to do anything we like without ever getting any sort of critique or backlash, we are never certain of if what we're doing is right or wrong, okay? We don't need an echo chamber, you know, all just yes men saying, okay, whatever. We always need a bit of hate. We always need a bit of flame and drama to make sure that there is always a counter argument from which we can learn even more. This is what I think. But of course, it can get out of control eventually.
People criticize you the most for drama, saying that you're trying to grab subs off these bigger channels. You're always bickering with Digibro, for Neverworld, and Chibi. You're always making response videos to them every week, and you're just fighting for subs. And the funny thing is, you've done this from my enemy list, and it's I don't want to call it a tactic because I see what you're doing, and I like with the most recent one, the For Neverworld. I could see he was basically. Everyone calls you the most elitist anime reviewer, the most critical, and you got a bad rep for it. But when you make the response videos to these people directly and you use their videos and their clips and you make fun of them, all that, people are saying you're using that just to bolster your own views. And you know, but I think you make a lot of good points. But people say this kind of tactic is part of the problem, even though you just said the confrontation, you know, incites discussion and stuff like that.
When the video has the title cringe or response or drama, and you know what you are getting into, I don't see the problem. People should know from the title what they should expect to see inside. If the title is misguiding, then we have an issue. If the title is clear, what about the content? I don't see the problem.
To be fair, one thing I do respect about you is that you did have podcasts, not just with me, with Digibro. You've actually opened the floor to speak with them. You've openly challenged them. So it's not. I honestly think you disagree with them, and you've opened the floor. I think you even wanted to meet Digibro at a convention to see if you could do it, and he obviously turned it down or whatever. But in your defense, I will say that I do think you're doing this purely on the basis of you completely disagree with their points. And obviously, you said this right in the beginning, by the way, you don't see many people criticizing the stuff they do. They've got thousands upon thousands of subscribers. You don't agree with their points. People are loving what they do. And you've said this many times before, you don't think they're making the community any better just with their lopsided opinions.
I have my opinions, my beliefs, and I always point out which kind of beliefs and opinions I don't agree with. Thus, those videos exist. If they cause drama, that's because people make more than what they are out of it, okay? Mm. So essentially, it's not just, no, it's my opinion, that's your opinion, that's everybody has an opinion, that's it, relativism. I hate relativism.
I know.
It's not just, no, we have two different opinions, we have two opposing opinions. And whenever I make such a video, it's just to show that we have opposing beliefs. And I want to make this clear because I'm against this whole, you know, different opinions, so just accept it as it is. No, I'm not going to do that. This is the reason I'm doing it, basically.
I know you like logic, you like to prove your point, and you like the truth. I know you don't like being subjective, and you like to back up your points as much as you possibly can to say, this is why I'm right, and this is why you're wrong.
Yep.
And it's so hard because I tend to agree with you on most of your criticisms, but it's hard to say. Everything is subjective. But I think you're saying people fall back on that for every argument. Everything you say, oh, well, it's my opinion. Oh, it's subjective. Oh, that's what people fall back on consistently, and they use that to defend their arguments. But again, I know I'm going round and round, and I'm going to bring this back to YouTube because YouTube now, especially with their most recent action with this demonetization of channels based on their criteria. People, if you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube are they've set guidelines on what you can talk about, and now of late it's coming to light that they're demonetizing videos that are unfriendly to their advertisers, basically. Some advertisers don't like you speaking about sex, about politics and stuff like that. There's rumors that they're gonna crunch down on bullying videos. Rory, this might affect you, you know, and people are very upset. My question to you is, I'm very actually interested to hear your thoughts on this. Is this silencing people? Is this, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
Censorship?
Censorship, exactly. So I'm listing my words there. Is this censorship? Is YouTube now putting censorship down by stopping people making money on things they feel won't satisfy their advertisers? Is that censorship?
Well, first of all, YouTube video creators don't own YouTube, okay? They're just using it as a tool to promote their ideas. From the moment you know that you don't own YouTube and that they are free to do anything they want with it, who are you to complain? You're just borrowing their facilities in a way to express yourself. But if they don't want to, they can just kick you out because, you know, you're paying rent and they say, I don't want you to pay your rent. I'm just going to bring someone else who's more friendly with the neighbors or something. They can do that because they own the place. So from a legal standpoint, they can do whatever they want, and we're just complaining because, well, they don't like us, and I understand why they wouldn't like us. Now, from what I see so far, they're not gonna take down channels which are about bullying. They're just gonna cut the monetization. So if somebody likes doing what he's doing, he can still keep making videos. He's just not gonna be making money out of those videos. If they are taken down completely, okay, that's a completely different issue. So as long as it's just about monetization, understand that not making money out of your videos is not necessarily the ultimate censorship, because in general, the revenue from YouTube videos has lowered significantly in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So this is why everybody turns to PayPal and Patreon.
Yeah.
Just like I did. So I don't understand, why do you want so much to get money out of YouTube? You don't need the ads on YouTube. They don't make you that much money anymore. Patreon and PayPal is the future. Funding is the future. So I don't see it as much big of a problem. You can easily say, guys, YouTube doesn't give me any more money, so help me out by paying something yourselves. If you don't care enough to support me, then excuse me, it's not my fault if I cannot support this channel and blah blah blah, I'm gonna leave. Nobody's gonna blame you if you cannot support your channel and nobody's helping you out financially. That's what I think.
Yeah, you made a big video about this when Chibi was saying, I lost my channel and I got, because he got flagged, and then they took away his monetization, and you jumped on him because, again, people are seeing YouTube as the get rich quick scheme. You know, I want to be famous. I could just make videos and that's my new job. And when this doesn't happen to them, or YouTube take the monetization away, not only are they censoring them, they're destroying their lives, destroying their livelihood. And there's a big, I know you just said you don't believe in censorship, but so many people are saying, if you're taking away their motivation to speak about certain things, that is censorship.
If their motivation was always money, it's not much of a good motivation. That's what I believe. It should be a moral motivation, not financial motivation. Come on, if you go to that point, you're not gonna make a business out of YouTube. That's the biggest mistake you can think of.
Well, here's the thing: there are some creators that are abusing these things in the wrong way. There are many creators that are making Patreons, taking people's money. That whole CS:GO gaming scandal where they were, they created the whole thing. They were getting. I don't think that's directly related to YouTube, but let's just stick to Patreon. There were people that were just, making all these Patreon rewards, not doing them, getting paid and closing their channels. And there's some rumors, Rory, that if this continues, if people abuse people on Patreon, even though Patreon is completely separate from YouTube, YouTube have the right, and I know this is going to sound crazy, YouTube might have the right down the line to say, if you're using Patreon on our channel to support your channel, we're not going to allow that anymore. They have the right to do that.
How? By taking down the annotation, taking away the description where you have the link? How can they do that?
They can just say, if we detected YouTube, I'm just saying, because there's a lot of Patreon scams going. People are making, it's just like you said. Actually, the funny thing is, the YouTube fan funding has been around for a while, but it's not in all regions. It's mostly only in America. Now, I don't really understand why it's been out for like 3 years, by the way. I can't get it in UK. I don't know if you got the fan funding feature, but for some reason they've made it very difficult in everywhere except for America to get this fan funding feature. So Patreon came in and everyone's jumping on Patreon now. But just like I said, so many people are using Patreon to do scams. They're using Patreon, not fulfilling their goals, and actually, I'll even take this one step further. There are people that are already making a sizable income just from the ads. People that have got 500,000 subs, they've got ads, they've got sponsorship deals, and they do Patreon on top of that. Now, actually, people are complaining more about this than people complaining more about fake Patreons, because these people already make a living off YouTube, and they're also, I know what you're going to say, it's their choice, it's separate, it shouldn't really matter, but I'm noticing that a lot of people are complaining about YouTube and Patreon, because although we're supporting people, people are starting to abuse it. And YouTube, you just said it, it's their site. If they said to you, we don't want our channel users to use Patreon, and they can check, obviously they can find out, obviously they have to get manpower to check your channels and all that, but if they did that, that's within their rights.
It is, but you must also understand that, just like you said about fan funding through YouTube, it's not allowed in my country. So, take away my Patreon. Now how am I going to get fan funding if you don't even allow it through your own means in my own country?
the reason why I bring this thing up, all of these things are motivators for people to become YouTubers. I'm doing a tactic you don't agree with to get subscribers. Again, I've made my point on that. People are just doing anything, making exposed videos, top 10 videos. They don't really care. Like I said, creativity is not enough. The competition is so high. People on your level, Rory, that have got close to 10,000, 20,000, they're not really reaching their goals. And it's not just YouTube with their advertisers. YouTube and their own algorithm to find videos, they've made it in a way, and I'm going to put a video, guys. There's people that have many videos showing that YouTube's algorithm are favoring certain YouTubers that are already at the top, certain companies that have come in now. For example, will you review anime? I think the Anime News Network, some of these anime sites like Crunchyroll, they want to start making their own YouTube channels, reviews, and people just go to them. Why go to someone like you that's just an amateur when they can go to Crunchyroll or the Funimation site or the whatever, or official anime channels? Because companies now are coming into YouTube and kind of taking over. YouTube are favoring them, and I think that's also part of the reason why someone like you can't really climb the rankings. Not just you, but people even higher than you. It's a big problem.
It's not a big problem if somebody's looking for a second opinion. If they want to go underground or something and find different opinions instead of just accepting what the majority or the main opinion of a series is. I mean, think about this. Crunchyroll has this series. There are 3 reviewers working for Crunchyroll mentioning their opinion about it. I mean, come on, how hard is it to say that they cannot exactly be negative about it? If somebody really wants to find negative opinions, he will Google problems with Series A, and he will find something about it.
People are lazy. People are casual.
I know, but I'm just saying, if somebody really wants to, he's gonna look for it. He's not gonna expect a pre-established answer which the company itself creates for itself. It's like cyclical logic. Moving in circles.
You've said this quite a lot, that people are, intelligent people are gonna look, but you want people that don't know any better to find your channel and become smarter. I mean, that's the people you want to subscribe. You want to make the casuals. You said this many times. You want the casuals to be smarter. They can only be smarter by finding you. And what I'm saying is, YouTube are favoring other channels that are already well established, that are already helping a lot of people. You're being spoiled. I know you said it's good for variety. That was just your point. It's good for opposing opinions. But the people that are being favored are giving everyone else a harder time to being found. And YouTube, as I sent you a video, you saw it. YouTube are favoring. They have their own agenda right now. It's a company-based business. I know you're probably going to say they're a company, they're supposed to do that. But you're a creator, Rory. I mean, it's not really helping you so much, and you've been struggling. I've been watching your channel. You've been struggling to get to 10,000 for a while. For too long, actually. It's ridiculous. It's taking you so long. You're still not there yet. Just 500 or so below. It's taking forever for you to get there. Well, someone like one of your favorite anime channels, Mr. Connexia, he just hit a million, right?
Yeah. And he's gonna make his own series now.
Anime. Oh yeah, I saw that actually. He's the one that's got his own book now, right?
Yeah. Basically, he did have the cringiest things which attract the most people easiest. Like fan service and lolis and panties and shit. He found 3 or 4 other channels which were doing the same thing. They made this group now, with Animan and Lost Pals. What's his name? So all of the 5 of them doing the same thing, self-promoting each other. It attracted the businesses because it basically talks about the things that sell the most, merchandise. So they attracted the official companies to promote them even further, and now they're gonna become their own small company. But essentially, what they're doing is promoting cringe, and they know it's like sex sales and bullshit is what people want to hear the most. So it is a tactic as well.
I'm surprised this doesn't bother you more. I know I've been doing most of the talking, but I'm surprised you're pretty much on board with I understand. Yeah, you're pretty understanding about how these things are going.
I understand how it works, and I could do it myself, but I don't have. I'm still too decent to do that. That's the only thing that holds me back. I'm too moral.
I mean, I want to ask you about your YouTube journey. Since the last time I spoke to you, you probably had like 500 subs, and now you've got close to 10,000. How has your YouTube journey been?
Well, the hardest thing is always to know what people want to listen to the most, and once you find it, how you're going to present it, because they are usually just focusing on the very essentials. Like they see most videos as suggestions or recommendations. They don't really look for the critical side of them. They mostly care about the visual presentation or the sound editing or whatever. So it's always, surface level stuff that's are really promoted the most. But once you do that, you can pretty much just say, you know what, I'm going to be the second opinion, the always negative opinion. And I'm going to point out that it's the second opinion because I'm going to keep making fun of those who have the mainstream opinion. So I'm just, it sounds like I'm leeching off the bigger ones. But as I said, it is a conflict, and I always want to be in some sort of a conflict and drama because it always gives you ways to improve yourself. How can the other guys improve themselves without just saying, bigger budget, better equipment, better video quality, and hiring somebody to do the editing for their videos? It's still surface level. It's just the presentation. It's not really the content. I'm just going for the content, how you will be talking, how you will be defending your opinions, that sort of thing. So that doesn't need budget. That needs a reason to improve yourself, usually through conflict. It's my way. But yeah, the essential thing I'm doing is always looking for things that people want to hear the most. 3-4 months ago I began the monthly goals, which was like you guys choose what I'm going to talk about next, about TV series, and which anime will make a review, which book, and all the things. But guess what, this month my Patreon dropped significantly, and I'm going to say no more monthly goals because it's below the threshold, which allows you guys to choose what I'm gonna review next. So this is like a small threat as well. It's like, if you cannot support this, don't demand more out of me, because I'm already making like 1 or 2 videos every day, even though I don't have to. I can just wait to make 1 video every day, which is gonna be at an average will be giving me more income, because there's a certain amount of views which you get for every video. You cannot get from the same guys money twice every day, so it's better off to make 1 video every day and maybe wait 2 or 3 to make the next one. But I'm so when I'm in the mood to make a video, I'm gonna make it. I don't really care about the money, so I don't really look up at that. I mostly say that I have my Patreon right now. As long as it's about a certain threshold, I am willing to do more. I was willing to go to cons, anime conventions in other countries, as long as it was even bigger than the threshold. Now it's even lower than the average, so no cons and no what was supposed to be privileges, not the essentials, until it reaches that threshold. And that's basically it. If you guys who are following me cannot even support this, you're giving the opinion that you don't want more of it, or you cannot support it financially, so don't complain about why I cannot give you more of what you expect. The same thing can go for the big channelers, which are already supported and funded by big companies to say what they want them to say, because they say, guys, they're paying me to say these things. If you cannot see it and you're so blind, don't complain about it, okay? It's just for the money. It's the same thing for me, but from the down below area.
It's like I said, Rory, even if you improved your quality, I don't think that would really make a difference in this point in time. YouTube is completely oversaturated. I mean, there are copycats of you. I've seen them. There are copycats. They're not very big. They're not very as intellectual as you, but they are copycats. Everyone's coming for an angle on YouTube. I asked you just a moment ago how your YouTube career has been going. It sounds a bit like a struggle, and I don't know, man. It sounds like you might have to do some of the things you don't want to do, if you want this to be a career, because if you want this to be your job, a job includes doing things you don't want to do. But I mean, the dream, of course, is getting paid for doing only what you want to do. That's the dream. That's the whole dream of YouTube. You get, actually, let me scrap that. That's not the dream. YouTube should be about just sharing ideas. It shouldn't be about money. Ever since they introduced monetization, it became a whole different animal. And you've said this many times. Even without the money, you will still do YouTube, which is cool, which is commendable. And this is why I don't care about how much subs I got, even though I'm hiding my subscribers, which is, I know, it's a contradiction. But anyway.
Listen, it's about being rewarded for doing what you like. I understand that. The reward is usually financial, but it doesn't have to be financial, because how many likes are enough to make you feel nice to keep going, Yeah. You need something bigger than just, clicking something and doesn't mean anything after eventually. So I understand why monetization is motivating people into trying harder. I understand that. It's just that if the subscribers are not supporting that, not for just, clicking or sharing your videos or whatever, if they're not supporting it somehow, which is more than just saying, I like this, keep going, then what actually gives you the motivation to keep going when you could be doing something else which can help you buy a new car or more clothes or feed your family or whatever, I understand fully why your subscribers need to be more active, not just by saying, like and share on Twitter or something. We're moving to a model where, it could be just big companies paying you to say whatever they want to hear, but it's also a model where the subscribers need to be more active. They need to be more supportive of those who are following. For example, when I'm going to another country, I'm always meeting people I have as my subscribers. I'm meeting them up close. I'm not simply going for the event, I'm going to meet them face to face. So they let me stay in their house, or I get free entrance to the convention, which indirectly gives them some promotion because I'm filming and making a vlog out of it. We are helping each other. It's not just about the money, I don't give you money to keep doing what you're doing. I'm giving you money to be closer with each other in a way. And 2 months ago, my Spanish Latino copycat, Perez also Doom, I was paying him $5 every month so he can make Spanish versions of my anime truths, because suppose many Latinos are not speaking English and they can understand the truths I'm trying to share. So I was paying him to make those versions. And I was saying, okay, for as long as my PayPal and Patreon are making enough, I'll be giving you $5 every month to keep doing it. Okay, and he was okay with it, making it like 3 or 4 videos every month. Fine. Last month I stopped him and I said, sorry man, it dropped a lot, I cannot do it anymore. But you can make a video where you announce to your way more than my subscribers, like 3 or 4 times more than I have, where you say, I can keep making these translations if you guys support me, because the snob cannot. And guess what? He got a nice boost in his own Patreon by others who are paying for it. So it's still about Patreon, and somebody else left and somebody else came back in his position to continue doing this, okay? If there is no interest from the subscribers, I don't see why everybody is complaining about it. If your own supporters are not actually supporting you with more than just clicking and saying keep going, not something more substantial, why would you keep going? I understand fully this model, and you say, okay, they do it for the money. The money is motivation, okay? If you are not motivated with something substantial, I fully understand why many are just dropping out or just, selling out in a way to the bigger companies, because they need something to keep going after, for how long can you keep making videos without any actual payoff, You need something to keep going. How many videos can you make about anime without saying, okay, who gives a shit anymore? Why can we keep doing this? What keeps me going after like 2 or 3 years? And that's the answer.
Well, we're gonna wrap up the YouTube part because I got to talk to you about a bit of anime on the end. So let me just say this: sounds like pretty much you're pretty satisfied with YouTube, the way things are going. What do you see of the future as YouTube right now? It sounds like you understand why they've made the decisions. You're pretty content. You don't blame them for making certain decisions. Where do you see the future of YouTube going right now? Because some people have said there will be a competitor with all these complaints. Everyone's moaning and whining about, I can't get my money, and YouTube's not fair with the copyright, blah, blah, blah. Where do you see the future with YouTube, and do you actually see a competitor in the future for this?
Well, first of all, do you remember when they changed completely the way you can comment on videos?
Oh, yeah, Google Plus thing, yeah.
Yeah, that thing that everybody just like, oh my god, they completely destroyed it and shit. Now I find it much better than it used to be. It was a change. It needed some adjusting. It looked so horrible at first, especially because you couldn't reply to old messages. But other than that, now that we smoothen everything, it looks better than it was before. It's a lot better to know who's replying to which exactly, what exactly you're replying to. So, first of all, you must understand, people don't like change. People hate change. No matter what you're going to change, most are not going to like it at first. And when it smoothens, when it eventually puts down their basics and say, this is the change, everybody says, oh, okay, let's roll with it. Now we're fine. Nobody likes change at first. Everybody will be against it. And when they see the benefits, then they'll be fine with it. So every time something changes, there is always going to be this negativity. And second, I always keep in mind that I don't own YouTube. I don't own any social media. They are free to do any changes they like, and I'm just there using their facilities, basically, okay? They are entitled to do anything they want with their own property, which is, YouTube or whatever. Same thing can be said about Facebook or Twitter. They are free to do anything they want with those things, and if it doesn't work out, people will leave it and it's going to be self-destroyed. Nobody wants to be self-destroyed. They're always trying to do something which will keep people close to them. So it's always for the benefit of the majority, which, okay, maybe the more controversial channels will always be damaged from these changes, but even those need to be adjusted eventually. Or even those need to be to adjust to the changes. So no, I'm not keeping a grudge in every change they want to do because, well, first of all, I like change. I like something new to be added or changed every year. You're gonna. It's the same thing with conflict. You need something to keep changing. Okay, how long can you keep using the same format, the same style before it gets stale by default, even without any changes? These constant changes in how YouTube is run force you to change your own format, and you're learning more things out of it, which are not bad, I believe. They're always trying to make them more user-friendly or more with more options and stuff. So no, I'm not against that.
If there was another competitor, you wouldn't really jump ship at this point. Sounds like you're saying, because a lot of people are...
What? There's Vimeo. What? There's Vimeo. Like, who gives a shit about it? There was something else. I don't know. It closed down recently.
Yeah, Vimeo, Daily Motion. There's a lot of people are saying. I don't know, man. I don't see it. Google are so big, and Google owns YouTube. I don't know, man. I'm happy where I am. Let me tell you something, man. I'm gonna sound very humanist when I say this. I got 500 people. I don't know 500 people personally. Just 500 people that actually love my content is fucking awesome. I will probably never meet 500 people like that. It's crazy. You've got 9,000 people. You've got so many people that comment on your videos, much more than me. That's awesome. That is really awesome. I mean, this is what YouTube just used to be about, connecting with people. The numbers never used to matter. I started by saying the numbers are mattering to people so much that it's bothersome. I said that I want people to like me for me. That's why I stopped the YouTube, because I think people are starting to like my content more. I think the numbers getting in the way.
There's no algorithm in YouTube that filters videos by how much people like you know? But they did change the algorithm from, instead of promoting to the sidebar those which have the most views to those which are watched the most, you know, by duration instead of views. This is what to destroy the clickbaits, where, you know, many people were throwing a completely irrelevant thumbnail and a completely misguiding title, which wasn't really doing anything, but it was amassing views, and it was eventually always promoted, even though it was, you know, like 10 likes and 1,000 dislikes or something. So they changed the algorithm, which was a good change, okay? I don't remember anyone complaining about that. So nowadays it's the longer videos which are promoted, or the ones which are watched the most. So it's like telling you, stop being a lazy asshole making short videos, make them long, make them Digibro style. But you need to fill them with something, because if you don't fill them with something significant, people will drop out after 30 seconds. So it gives you reason to try harder. And I like that. This is what people don't seem to understand. There have been so many changes, and most of them were for the best. What I didn't like was, you know, taking away the dislikes. When you have a comment, you can dislike it and see how many dislikes it has. It's like, it doesn't motivate people to be more controversial, because it gets downvoted, and you can see how many times it gets downvoted. I was fine with that. I could see it's controversial because it's very downvoted, but now it's taken away.
The video responses was, everybody loved them, but YouTube said people weren't using them. It was like 10 or 5% of the community was using them. I'm like, people loved. That's how a lot of people grew, and I honestly think that is one of the most missed YouTube features and one of the most desired.
Yes, but another change that you couldn't just post a link as a comment. You could only promote it, you know, as a response.
Yeah. Nowadays
you can just throw a link, and there's not going to be any limitation. So what's the point of having a video response when you can just post it in the comments?
That's true. They do get flagged though, and you have to approve it, which makes sense, because
I mean, it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. So again, it's very user friendly in this way. I have no problem with it. Yeah, I do miss them at first, but now I see how it improved. It smoothened on its own, and now it's way more user friendly for everybody.
Okay, so for the record, people, Rory loves YouTube. So anyway, guys, let me apologize. We might have bored people speaking for 50 minutes about YouTube and my drama and our thoughts and all that. I know a lot of this was old news. Rory went into, I think over your videos, you've gone into submitting about, but I just wanted to dig in and ask you all these YouTube questions. But since you're the anime snob, I got a lot of anime questions for you, which you've already answered a lot of your videos. I'm just answering them here because some people ask me to, and they love your comments on anime. So I have to ask the basic generic questions. I know you've asked this before, so you can be very quick about this. But first of all, the anime community, man. How do you feel about the anime community in 2016?
It's getting more miserable as it goes on. So basically, you see, the problem with any community is that in order to stay motivated, most of them think that if they're constantly being positive, things are going to be fine. So no matter how worse the medium they are talking about becomes, as long as they're staying positive, there's not going to be any change. And I'm not against that, because the medium of anime specific right now has gone down the drain the past 5 years. And I don't see any change about people becoming more negative or critical, because people don't like negativity on those things. That's just what annoys me the most. Everybody is always trying to be hyped up and positive and doesn't want to talk about the flaws, or deliberately ignores them for the sake of, more views or more income, because, who wants to see somebody shitting on something? Even though I would love to see that sort of thing, but I'm not the average viewer. So the problem with the community is that it gets bigger and bigger because, more channels, more people talking about them, more series coming out every year. So the library of possible shows you can talk about also grows. What I don't see is people being more critical, actually critical, not just saying, the opening wasn't as good as the previous season, so shit, fuck you, basement, whatever your name, mother's basement. That's the only thing you can talk about. So there's so much focus on directing and the visual presentation, or even sound presentation, and not so much about writing. They keep on saying, no, who cares about writing? This is a visual medium. People are looking at the presentation, the directing. They don't care about the script. If you want to talk about the script, talk about books, or maybe stick to visual novels and books. And come on, man, it's the same thing. It's part of the package. But if I criticize the light novel, which the anime is based on, I can just talk about the script and how awful it is. But if it's well presented and it's all fine in the anime adaptation, no, it makes no sense. I always start from the core and then move upwards, and I usually don't even bother to talk about the visual presentation eventually. So this is what bothers me. Everybody's so stuck on surface level things, like how well the animation is, or which studio made it, and who was the director, and nobody really cares about, plot holes and inconsistencies. And when you point them out, everybody says, well, you're supposed to turn a blind eye just so you can be entertained by the package, because if you're too critical, you're never going to enjoy it. But I enjoy finding flaws, and I know channels, like Anime Sins and Cinema Sins and all those the copycats. They're always finding flaws. And
is there an Anime Sins? Anime Sins?
Yes, now there is. There's like 5 or 6 of them. They're copycats of each other, but none of them is very known. But it's so fun seeing them trying to find faults. It's fun.
Ooh, that sounds like something you should join. You should join that team.
In my very early videos, I did that for Sword Art Online before even Cinema Sins was a thing. Yeah. I did that with the first half of Sword Art Online. So it spread out from there, and now everybody does it. But that's not my point. Everybody can do that. It's just that when you do that, everybody says, you're just watching to find flaws. What's the bad in that? It's just another thing. It's like instead of enjoying the show, you're enjoying finding flaws about the show. So it's the same logic.
I can clear this up for you, Rory, because there's 2 things. You've heard this before. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know, but there's 2 reasons why I think you're not seeing the critical thinkers. Number 1, me and you are in the same age range. We're in our 30s, mid-30s. And here's the thing. Most anime fans like us love classic retro anime because... put nostalgia factor. You can say it was better, which I agree with, but for argument's sake, I'm just going to say because nostalgia, and that's what we grew up with, that's what we love. Let's just put that for argument's sake. Here's the thing. Everyone my age, everyone I know that's my age, that's our age, that watch anime right now, most of my friends don't like the general anime, and they just can't be bothered to do videos. They can't be bothered, or they're just like, you know what? I can't be bothered to do a negative review. I just can't be bothered. And I've heard people say that, Rory, you got this energy to spread negativity. No one, it's easier to spread positivity because they've got energy for it. But that's what makes you special, because you've got a lot of energy to talk about the negative elements. And I just think that
there's so much positivity. Why are you not fed up with it? Come on, man.
I just don't think people, honestly, I think people are deflated. Like me, myself, the anime I watch, I don't even talk about. So much anime, I watch a lot of new anime. I say I don't watch one anime. I watch, but I'm like, you know what? I can't even be bothered to argue with people. And that's what happens with a lot of people I know. It's not that they're not there, Rory. I just think most people are unlike you. They can't be bothered. And that's why I respect you. I'm like, you know what? Here's one guy who's passionate about complaining about and criticizing these animes, where most people that don't like the animes just don't talk about it. So the people are there, Rory. Honestly, they just can't be bothered. And the people that love anime, they've got all the energy and all the love to speak about anime. And I'm not good. I will say for the record, I do think that there are more people that love anime that dislike it. I'm sure the ratio is probably 2 or 3 to 1. But I just think people can't be bothered. And that's why I like having you subscribe, because I don't find a lot of channels that objectively, although very critically, critique anime. they just can't be bothered, Rory. I'm sorry. That's why you're kind of alone. But there's, and I didn't even know there was animations that you just mentioned. I will check them out because I'm always interested to balance the scales, the good and the bad. It's not interesting. If everyone's talking about everything's good, everything can't be good. That's impossible. And when I watch it, I can see it's not good. So, but then I see that, hey man, no one can be bothered to critique anime. No one can be bothered. They just feel deflated. And I grew up on anime. I got into anime because it broadened my mind. I saw them doing things with anime on a storytelling level I've never seen combined with animation. That blew my mind. You made a video recently about how anime is like a human being. It's gone through its stages of, you know, age progression, you know, toddler to adult, and now it's in the phase of midlife crisis. Is that right? Now they're in the midlife crisis phase. And I'm like, yeah. And the people that don't like it are very upset. They just feel so, like me, I'm so deflated with anime. Anime looks gorgeous. I will always say that. Anime looks better than it's ever looked. But it's like fast food. The stories are shit. The stories are the same shit. I feel like anime, there's 20 anime. If you've seen it, you've seen all of anime because all they do is recycle 20 anime that's already been out. And I've seen those 20 anime. Every time I see a summer review, a summer 4 review that anime's coming out, this is a remake of that. This is a remake of that. This is a remake of that. Some of them are sequels. Some of them are just the same show you saw 10 years ago, remade with a new face, with prettier animation. And that's what everyone's gagging on about. And the creativity, like you said with the storytelling, it's gone. I've gone more on manga. You know, I want to read more old manga because new manga is pretty much the same with anime, in my opinion. I like reading older manga right now. A lot of manga that haven't got anime adaptations, and a lot of the manga adaptations that get reboots, like Parasite, that was the best anime. It's an old manga. It's not even a new one. So you said this as well. Retro always wins because they do a lot of adaptations, just like they do in Hollywood. Hollywood's the same. It's not just anime. Hollywood's a stuck with sequels.
There's a bigger problem. There's a bigger problem with the newer manga is that if they don't catch on with the audience very fast, they get cancelled. It's not like the older days where you could have like a 5-year period to see if the people like it. Nowadays, 6 months, not enough popular, cut it down. That's it. Moving on to the next one. So that's another thing. They are forced to be like fast food because if they are not, easily digestible right away with not much build up and take the fucking explosions right away and take away the build up and the character development, go straight to the point, and then because you got straight to the point, there's nothing much to show because it's so straightforward. How much can you go on with being straightforward? It loses steam very fast. So they're burning out much faster and they are not allowed to smoothly develop along with time. So, for example, they keep on saying that. Imagine if something like One Piece was coming out today. Do you really think people would stand it for more than 6 months without getting cancelled?
No.
It's impossible.
No.
Nobody would stand until it gets, to Arabasta or something.
Yeah, exactly. That 120, it wouldn't have got that far. It
wouldn't go that far. You're not allowed that much room to breathe as it used to.
The only thing I like about anime is that they're shorter. 12 episodes. I like the fact it's all short, but it's still shit. But I don't have to invest 52 episodes in the series like back in the day. But a lot of those shows were better. So I'm just saying that I like the shorter factor. It's just like you said, because now they can't afford to waste so much time on production on these animes, and they're just in out like fast food, which
Yeah, I mean, just look at the Sailor Moon, the remake. Aside from how the CGI was terrible in the first season, they were basically taking an old manga, which was mostly episodic. In the older version, they took out everything. They went straight to the point. It was so straightforward, just like the manga. It was boring for the same reason, because there was no build-up. So it's one of those cases where the older version, despite being like 80% filler, it was better because it was giving enough room for the important events to really feel significant as a build-up. If you have 8 episodes of filler, which is basically slice of life and predictable missions, and then you get to the good parts, you feel the significance of the highlights because they're far apart from each other. But when you take away the middle part and you just highlight, then nothing is a highlight because it's all the same thing. And everything moves so fast, it doesn't feel good, that sort of thing. Or what they did with Dragon Ball Kai. Everybody says, Dragon Ball Kai is so much better than Z.
No, Jesus Christ, no.
I try to watch it, it's like, holy shit,
Christ.
There is absolutely no build-up. If you think they were just, sitting and then getting a level up, now they're not even sitting because that's filler. They take a breath and now they're leveled up. It's like, what the fuck?
He's like, Toriyama is like George Lucas. It's at the start, he made it worse. You think that Dragon Ball GT was bad? This is worse.
This is way worse. This is way worse.
This is like the prequels. I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but Jesus Christ, they ruined it. Goku. Look, guys, I made videos about how to support that with Dragon Ball Super, and I knew this was gonna happen. The Super Saiyan Skittle colors, all this, the creativity. Anyway, let's not go on a rant on that. Let me just ask you all, because we bitch a lot about anime. You must have hope for anime if you're still watching it. I mean, do you see this tide breaking? Do you see the resurgence of good storytelling anime coming back at some point in 10 years, 20 years? Do you see this moe phase, this pretty colors high school phase ending? Do you see a revolution in the medium?
Well, I can see lots of things coming out of the upcoming virtual reality. Now, how will that be exploited instead of just making sex toys and all that stuff? is a whole different story. But I believe that virtual reality by itself allows you to experience a world in a more realistic manner. So it doesn't really need to be just about, self-indulgence, as we call it. It can be something like, back in the 90s where everybody was afraid of the internet and all science fiction was grimdark at that time, like Line.
Yeah.
So I believe that thanks to virtual reality, we'll be able to experience worlds and settings in a completely different way, because so far everything is so limited. It cannot expand because we always view it two-dimensionally on our screens, so everything needs to have some sort of easily digestible rules. For example, there's like ReZero, the latest fad, and it's supposed to be taking place in a fantasy realm, and that fantasy realm is basically every otaku fetish you can think of. There is nothing special about it. There is no world building on anything. Yeah. But if you have virtual reality, which can have its own specific laws of physics, by wearing I don't know what you will be wearing to experience it, and it can be like different in gravity, different in oxygen levels, I don't know, different plantation. It can let you mess around with the laws of physics and not be strictly making, let's say, Lord of the Rings knockoffs or World of Warcraft knockoffs, or I don't know, something that's basically a copycat of something else. It will allow a lot more freedom in creating new settings. This is what I'm positive about. What I'm not positive about, it's about, it can be just more self-indulgence where you can grab your wife and have sex with her or something. So I'm hopeful that they will experiment a lot more on the upcoming virtual reality. It will take many years because at first it's going to be like the advent of CGI, which was like, holy shit, it took 20 years to look nice in video games, and it still looks shit today in most cartoon and anime. But it gives so much room, and in a way, it even makes space exploration meaningless, because the magic of space exploration was always going to different planets and seeing different environments. Well, now you can make your own environments. You don't really need to create a 5 billion spaceship and go to another solar system, which will probably kill you anyways. So you're just going to make let's call it a video game. It's going to cost a lot less, and it's going to offer your buyers, let's call them, something which will be unique, something that nobody else can offer you. A completely different world. Like, what if No Man's Sky was actually good because every planet is unique? Well, what if it's actually unique with its own actual environment and its own actual side quests and stuff? That sort of thing. No Man's Sky was a perfect beginner's guide to how the future of virtual reality can be if somebody puts actual effort on every, let's call it planet or realm or whatever you're going to call it, being its own special thing. That's how I see it.
Yeah, well, anyway, let's wrap this up a little bit. I've got a few quick questions for you. So, I know it's been a very long podcast. We went on a very, I don't want to say political, but a very decisive discussion on YouTube and such in the anime community. I know a lot of people heard this stuff before. I like touching base with you because, again, I know you've got this reputation for being a complete asshole and very rigid and inflexible and out of touch, but the snob is, I think that's you, but I don't think that's all you. You're a cool guy. We've had a few podcasts. People know that you're not that super fucking crazy, but you're a well-adjusted person who's got a very interesting point of view, a very rigid, straightforward and blunt point of view, which people need to hear. That's why I like having you on every once in a while. It's been a long time since before then, but I appreciate you coming on for this. But let's bring on some more general quick questions before you go. Now, bitching on anime again and again, I got a challenge for you. This should be easy for you though. In the last 5 years, what has been the best anime show within the last 5 years? Forget retro. The one that you recommend.
Does Tatami Galaxy count? Because that was the last show I consider a masterpiece.
No. All right, let's last 3 years.
Oh, now you're narrowing it down.
Yeah, I have to.
Does Gundam The Origin count? Because it's the
yeah.
bloodiest best of EA series I've seen in a long, long time.
What is
Does
there
that
any?
one
Is
count?
yeah, it counts. But is there any new IPs that's not existing?
Oh,
franchise?
new IP.
Yeah.
Does the JoJo remake count?
No, it
Even though
doesn't.
Oh shit! This is so limiting. This is so limiting, man. The last.
Prove to the people that you don't just hate new. And there must be one title that was. Look, I'm not saying you loved it, but the best you've seen of newer anime. What's the best you've seen that was like, okay, that had a lot of promise, even though it disappointed you? What's the best of the new stuff within the last couple of years? You must have something in mind.
I need to check the list because I cannot think of anything right now. First of all, it must not be based on a manga from the 80s or something.
No.
Okay, checking the last 3 years.
Retro always wins.
Oh shit, it's gonna be so hard. 3-4. That's the only scores I'm giving it. 3-4. What is this?
I knew this would be fun, people. That's why I asked him.
Oh, it's so hard. I see Hunter x Hunter, but no, it's based on an old manga. JoJo doesn't count. What is this? Oh yeah. Rage of Bahamut. Does that count? Because it's not really based.
I guess.
Okay.
It was based off a game though, so.
Oh. What about Dime Dollar?
I think that counts.
Okay, that counts because it is based on a manga, but the manga was like what, a couple of volumes long, I think. So that's the only one which is not really based on on an old manga, on an old video game, on an old
what was
whatever.
The name of it again? What was the name of it again?
Dime Dollar, the dick penguins.
Yeah.
It's a parody of Mecha.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
What about Kill la Kill? That could be original, right?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. It was original though. Studio Trigger. It was
Yeah, I see it always as a tribute to the 70s Gona Guys shows and a parody of many, Gainax and in-jokes and stuff. I don't see it as a well-written series. I understand that you don't like it and all that stuff. I understand they went overboard with the fan service. But I see it as a tribute mostly to Kyurei Hane. I always wanted to see a better version of Kyurei Hane. I finally got it. And this is why I liked it so much.
It was cool. I won't deny that. It was cool. It was Roriconfan. I'm surprised you liked it. I was surprised you liked it, but you explained it. It was a homage. You liked it for the right reasons. And again, I didn't like it, see? So we don't agree all the time, people. But yeah, so what else have I got here? Have you got any YouTubers that you are a fan of or you do think is doing a good job? Anyone you would recommend for the people? Apart from yourself.
If you consider me finding an equal, I cannot mention anyone seriously.
Well, not an equal, just someone you do think he's doing a good job.
Well, I'm a fan with I'm a friend and close contact with Bob Samurai since he moved away from the anime mafia and got serious and focused more on being more critical and making videos which are not copycats of Arcada. I like him for doing that. Mm-hmm. Okay, this will sound a bit expectable, but Demolition D is fun, okay? The guy knows how to combine jokes with serious critique. He's mostly about jokes, of course. But when he wants to critique something, especially what he did with Noah Zero, that was fucking brilliant. It's just he sort of gave up making those videos anymore. He's not really trying. But when he was trying to be both funny and critical, like when Gigak was like funny and critical 6 years ago or something when he began making videos. That was very good.
Well, he's coming back apparently. He's kind of, but anyway.
Kind of, but he's still making jokes about predictable jokes.
Yeah.
So expectable. I don't see any actual comeback. I like Bennett the Sage, who does this...
Retro! He's retro! He's a retro king. You should love him.
Yeah, he's a retro king. He's not afraid to say that OVAs from the 90s were shit. It's like most of his reviews are about awful anime which are forgotten for everybody. Even I didn't know half of them when I began watching him. Yeah. And that he truly points out that even retro can be shit. Yeah. But when retro is good, retro is brilliant.
That's a good one. I love Bennett the Sage. That's a very good. He's a retro king. Big fan of his, actually. Good choice.
Draconis March, when he's not being a dick, he can be good, which is like 10% of the time. There's a guy named Professor Otaku, who is so hell-bent on promoting old mecha. Yeah. And I really like him, how he's shown that retro mecha were good. It's not the shit we're seeing nowadays, which I think this is like what mecha was always. No such thing. There's this guy named Philosotaku, who nobody knows of, and he puts so much effort in making the cartoony presentation of his videos. Like, holy shit, nobody knows this guy. And he puts like endless hours on explaining with very good analysis. He hasn't made many videos.
You know he's a good friend of mine, right?
No, I don't. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did a podcast on him. It kind of introduced you to him a long time ago.
Shit, completely forgot him.
Yeah, like you said, I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a really cool guy. Like you said, he's kind of disappeared. Actually, I don't think he minds me saying this. He's actually trying to become a voice actor.
He's trying to become a voice actor.
Yeah, for an American animator. I think he applied for Funimation. Sorry, I know this is public, but I'm trying to help you. So yeah, he was applying for some voice actor jobs, which is really cool.
Oh,
so
okay. More power to him.
Yeah.
Now, even from episodic reviewers, I like first impressions the most. Not every episode. First impressions from 3 or 4 episodes. So there is Anime Elimination. I really like this guy being like this serious voice when he's trying to be really critical about them, and I like that. There is also Cyanide Blizzard, which has joined hands with Draconis March in their first impressions, and they're pretty good at that. They're not holding back and at saying why they like this or they don't like that, and always recommending the show based on the first episodes. They don't do overall series videos, which is like a problem because your opinions may change, or the first part can be good, then it becomes shit. But as far as first impression goes, these two are the best. These 2 channels.
I'll give you one more. We're gonna wrap it up. I'll give you one more.
Gabriel Shingen Gabriel. When he wants to make a good video, he tries so much. Especially his Gurren Lagann video was amazing. It's just that he has to support his family, so he sort of also went inactive. And he also writes his own books, and he's more focused on publishing his books instead of making anime videos, which nobody really cares about because it's a very small channel. These are the ones I can think of right now, which are very special, and I really like what they're doing, even though most of them are inactive because they were too good for this community.
One I was always a fan of as well. I know you and I don't know if you got into argument, was Uber Hikari, but he kind of disappeared as well.
He was too snob even for me. We sort of tried.
Too snobby? Are you serious?
He snobbed me when I tried to talk about him. We tried to have this argument about a shonen. He's like, "Are you an idiot? Shut up, go away." He was always doing that with everyone, pretty much.
I know. That's what I just said. That I knew that. Yeah, I remember that happened. I remember. I was around that time. Yeah, with the Cloud Village stuff. So
he was more snob than I was. They think that people I'm close-minded. I am the closed-minded one. He's the closed-minded one.
I liked his videos. I was very, very critical. Very good.
Very good as monologues, not very good as dialogues.
But anyway, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I was going to mention one more thing about a mangaka writing these long-running shonen. Mangaka that just can't finish, that don't know how to end a story. People getting upset with, Bleach and Naruto, and I know I'm bringing up old titles, but shonen mangaka, they can't finish a story to save their fucking life. And same goes for Togashi. I love Hunter x Hunter. I love it. I know he's got problems with his health. I know all about that stuff. And I don't want him to hand it to someone else because no one could write it as well as he can. But still, man, I have a problem with long-running manga. And manga in general, even though I love it, that's why I only look for shorter manga. Because these long-running manga, even Berserk! Fucking Berserk! This guy's got writer's block.
I lost all hope in Berserk ending before Miura dies.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man. The source material as well. Not anime is the only thing that's got the problems. But anyway, let's leave that for another time because maybe we'll do a whole manga talk. But anyway, Rory, I want to thank Snob. I keep calling you Rory because it's been so long. Snob, I want to thank you for coming on. Sorry if this guy's audience, if you've been bored by this discussion or this wasn't the discussion you wanted, tough luck. It's the discussion you deserve.
That's what happens when you have a free answer questions type of style.
Yeah, I know I did most of the talking, but if you guys know my channel, I kind of rein it in. And Rory, if you want to listen to Rory talk, there's gonna be a link to his channel on the screen. You know him much more than me because he's got 10 times more subscribers than I, so that's not a problem. But again, Snob, thank you for coming on. Again, I really do enjoy conversating with you. People love our discussions. If you check the comments on the other videos, people love this side of you. The anime truth. When you did the 10-minute anime truth videos, we are very calm and melodic. Breaking it down. I actually found those videos very relaxing. I think one of your favorite videos.
Yeah, I don't make more videos though, so I don't like being very relaxing myself.
I know. My favorite video, I said the other two before, what is a masterpiece? That has to be one of my favorite videos you did. That was a very well executed video. One of my favorite anime videos. But anyway, that's enough kissing your ass. You need to get the hell out of here so I can go back to work. Guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit a like on it. Subscribe to the Anime Snob. If the 500 people subscribe to me, subscribe to him, he'll hit the 10K. So
I sure hope so. It's about time. Come on, man. I have my birthday next month. Make it happen. It's my birthday my birthday present.
Hashtag Snob 10. What's your hashtag for the snob to get to? You have a hashtag, right?
TAS 10K.
TAS, yeah, TAS 10K. Let's push him to the 10K mark. Again, you can see this is a gentleman, a very nice fellow, under the skin of the snob. There's a heart under the soul of the snob, and that's a good man. So guys, again, leave a comment. Tell us what you thought of the discussion down below. Anything you agree with, disagree with. We're going to go back and forth with you. I don't know. I'll send Rory a copy of this audio. I don't think he'll bother because this is a long podcast. You want to chop it up and do it on your video, whatever. But it'll be on our channel listening now. It's also going to be on iTunes. Link is going to be in the description, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, Snob, thanks for joining me on this one.
Sure, man. See you again in another 4 years or something, because we make one every 4.
That's exactly what I was going to say. See you in 4 years, guys. But we'll see you in the next video, guys.
See you in 4 years.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up button and we'll do another one, hopefully.
See you in the next one. That's how you always end it.
Next time on Snob, the Anime Snob.
Next time, TAS 20K.
But seriously, thanks for listening, guys.